In the heart of ancient Laos, long before kingdoms and empires rose across Southeast Asia, there was a land covered in mist and silence. On a vast plateau, thousands of massive stone jars stood scattered across the hills, valleys, and forests. Each jar was taller than a man, carved from single blocks of sandstone and granite. To this day, their purpose remains a mystery. Were they burial sites, ceremonial vessels, or something far more sinister? Our story begins with the tribe of the Xiang, a people who lived among these jars centuries ago. They farmed the land, fished in the rivers, and worshipped spirits of earth and sky. To them, the jars were not curiosities but sacred objects. They believed the jars were built by giants, beings older than mankind, who once walked the land in an age when mountains moved and rivers roared like thunder. The elders warned never to disturb them, but as always, curiosity is stronger than caution. A young hunter named Kai was the first to wonder what secrets the jars might hold. One day, after a long hunt, he stood before one of the largest jars. Its rim was covered with moss, and a strange echo seemed to rise from within. He leaned closer and thought he heard whispers. Shadows moved across the surface of the stone, though no clouds crossed the sky. Kai told his closest friend, Anong, a skilled weaver. Unlike Kai, she was cautious, but she too had grown up with questions. Why were the jars hollow? Why were there so many of them? Together, they decided to investigate. They sought guidance from Elder Baumi, the spiritual leader of their village. His face was weathered with age, his beard white, and his voice low like distant thunder. Baumi told them of an old tale. The jars were once drinking vessels of a mighty king who celebrated victory after centuries of war. But in another version of the story, the jars were prisons designed to trap spirits that could not be killed. Kai, restless and daring, believed the second tale. He insisted that something still lingered within them. Anong hesitated, but agreed to help. On the night of the new moon, the two slipped into the field of jars with torches in hand. The plain stretched endlessly under the stars. Some jars were cracked, others stood tall as if defying time itself. They approached one jar taller than a house. Kai climbed the rim and lowered his torch inside. The light revealed bones. Human bones stacked high as if someone had filled the jar with the dead. Suddenly, the air grew cold. The torch flickered. A figure appeared beside the jar. It was Nok, a warrior spirit clad in bronze armor that shimmered faintly though he was transparent. His face was fierce, his eyes hollow yet burning with light. He told them the truth. The jars were not graves. They were prisons. Each jar contained the restless souls of warriors who once defied the gods. Long ago, these warriors drank from forbidden waters that gave them unnatural strength. They rose against heaven itself, and for their rebellion, the gods cursed them to remain trapped within stone. Every jar was a cage. Every bone was a reminder of the price of defiance. Kai trembled but also felt excitement. What if the power of the warriors could be claimed? Anon warned him, begging him not to meddle. But Kai's ambition was stronger. He whispered to the spirit, asking how the jars might be opened. Nok told him, only blood freely given could weaken the seals. Anong realized the danger. She dragged Kai away before he could make an oath. Elder Baumi appeared, having followed them in secret. He revealed that he too once sought the jars in his youth. He had seen what happened when a jar cracked open. Shadows escaped, screams filled the air, and entire villages fell to madness. He warned them that if the seals broke, chaos would rise again, and no god would come to their aid. But Kai could not let go of the thought of power. Days later, he returned alone. He cut his hand and let his blood fall into the jar. The ground shook, the jar cracked. A black mist rose into the night. What emerged was neither man nor spirit, but a twisted figure, half-formed, with claws and burning eyes. It latched onto Kai, binding itself to him. The plain trembled with unleashed fury. Villagers fled. Anong and Baumi confronted Kai, now possessed. His eyes glowed. His voice echoed with the screams of countless warriors. Nok reappeared, no longer a guide but a judge. He declared that once the jars open, balance must be restored. Anong, with trembling hands, cut the rope binding the possessed Kai's arm and forced him back toward the jar. With Baomi's chants and Nox's power, the spirit was dragged back into its prison. The jar sealed once more, though a crack now ran across its surface. The cost was high. Kai collapsed, lifeless. Anon wept. Baomi told her this was the fate of those who sought forbidden knowledge. Nox's image faded, his last words echoing, "The jars will stand until the end of time, and as long as they remain, temptation will return." From then on, the villagers avoided the plain. They built no homes there, planted no fields, and spoke of it only in whispers. Yet the jars still remain, scattered across Laos, waiting. Whether they hold the bones of kings or the souls of the damned, no one can say. But when you walk among them in the silence, listen closely. You may hear the whispers too,